We are now at the beginning of Milwaukee. You notice it's gonna start right, as we turn left. This will be the beginning. Can't go right. It's a different street, which is called Kinsey. We're at 400 North, which means 4 blocks from Madison at 0. 4 blocks from the heart, Madison, of downtown. Madison and State are where 0 and 0 are, the beginning of the grid. So we're 4 blocks from that, and Milwaukee starts. The beginning of the beginning. And we're gonna gingerly come out here. A lot of traffic. That guy is the traffic. Milwaukee Avenue. Starting. We're gonna take this, I don't know, maybe 20 miles. Depends. Here's Grand Avenue. We'll go out also to the west. Not as sharp at an angle though as we will. We're going mostly north. Grand is mostly west. We're going northwest. Hubbard Union. Speed limit's 25. We see nothing but strange buildings. Here's Milwaukee and Grand. Big Bank of America building on the left. There's the expressway that goes to it goes all over. It goes north, south, east, not too much east, but west. Different expressways are start there. Mostly what's called the Eisenhower Expressway going out to O'Hare, but also the 94 Edens, which goes up to Skokie and Milwaukee and Wisconsin in general, and then probably Minnesota all the way to Canada or Michigan. Here we are. I believe this is Chicago Avenue. Every half a mile, yeah, Chicago Avenue, 800 North. Notice we started at 400 North, went to 800 North. Soon we'll be at the intersection of 1200 North, which is Division, famous Division, where neighborhood of the Nelson Algren story, man with the golden arm happened, or was set in. Division in Milwaukee. Going over another expressway. This one is 94, going north and south. South to where? Memphis. The beginning of Memphis. The 94 leads into 55, which goes into St. Louis and then Memphis. You know, I'm not so good at where all these expressways go to. I've been on them all, I've gone everywhere on them, but I can't remember the numbers and exactly where they go. But believe me, from Chicago on the expressway, you can get to New Orleans, you can get to Los Angeles, Las Vegas, New York, Ohio, north of Canada. You can get everywhere from Chicago. There's many highways going many different directions and merging into each other until the whole area is covered in highways. are we seeing here? There's a big building called Noble Square Cooperative over there. It's interesting. It's like a hotel that was taken over by somebody. Here's the division. We got a nice display of purple lights put on the trees for some reason. It might be a Polish holiday of some sort. I'd have to check into it. Why are there all these purple lights on? Maybe it's Easter. The Polish are big on the Catholic holidays. Could be in celebration of Easter, which was last Sunday. Coming up is Orthodox Easter, Eastern Orthodox, which will be in 2 days, Eastern Orthodox. That's my professed religion, Serbian Orthodox. Serbian Orthodox became a thing in 1921. It used to be just Orthodox, or, if you would like, Russian Orthodox. There was no such thing as Serbian Orthodox. They were part of the patriarchy of Eastern, sometimes called Greek. At the beginning, of course, it was Greek Orthodox. Later Russian, then Serbian. It took a while to tame the Serbs, quite a while. They were known as the wild people of Europe. Montenegro, Serbia. They were the ones who fought the hardest against the Muslims, the invasion of the Muslims. But unfortunately for all of us, the Muslims defeated the Serbs and enslaved them for hundreds of years. So it is with pride that I am Serbian Orthodox. It is with pride that we once were almost able to take back Kosovo, the site of our glorious defeat by the Muslim hordes and our enslavement. We almost took Kosovo, but for that Clinton and his paramour with the stained dress, we would have had Kosovo back again. One day we will. One day we'll return to our mountains and our farms, and we'll no longer yearn to be brothers at arms. But right now, we yearn for it. We yearn to be brothers at arms. These mist-colored mountains are home now for me, but our home are the lowlands, and always will be. One day you'll return to your valleys and your farms, and you'll no longer yearn to be brothers in arms. On the hills of destruction, baptisms of fire I watched as you suffered, and the battle rang higher. Although you did hurt me so bad, in your anger and alarm, fear and alarm, you did not desert me, my brothers in arms. Now the sun's gone to hell, and the moon's riding high, Let me bid you farewell, Every man's got to die, As are written in the starlight, and every line on your palm, We were fools to make war on our brothers in arms. There's someone behind me now. Could be a cop, probably is. So going north, you don't see any sense of this being a community. Rather, you sense it being some kind of like you're on a train. You're passing through a desolate, boarded up, once thriving, but certainly not now, area. And you wonder what was once here. Why is it so desolate now, bleak? Why is it so horrible? And we have a Dunkin' Donuts, which says a little light on this area. Collectivo Coffee, Sushi Taku, Cozy Corner. Well, now we're getting a little life here. A little happiness. A little happiness. Subway sandwich, always a good sign to see. Barbershop with a proud sign up ahead. It's called Square Barbershop. Or Logan Square, maybe. Logan Square. Here we are in Logan Square. This is the home of the nightly shootout, where if you live here, you'll hear all through the night shots ringing out, disturbing your precious slumber. Logan Square, where my friends had to leave because they couldn't stand it anymore. Too many shots ringing out constantly. Now, who knows? Might be the center of yuppiedom. It's changing all the time. The gentrification process ebbs and wanes. Furious Spoon is the name of this restaurant. Great name for a restaurant. Kudos to you, my friends. Furious Spoon. Deadbolt hip hop bar. You know, in a pocket of misery, immiseration, loneliness, and despair, some little shoots of creativity and bravery and whatnot come up. And they come up with a restaurant called Furious Spoon, as if to mock the surroundings, which eventually will crush them. Crush their spirit, crush their souls, crush any humanity or spark of life, and from Furious Spoon will become what? Denny's, McDonald's, Kentucky Fried Chicken. Where will Furious Spoon go? Where could it go? Skokie, maybe? Canada? Sweden? No longer, I'm afraid. No, Furious Spoon has no future anywhere. But it was nice while it lasted. Where we would go. Believe me, I'm not traveling 20 miles to get to Furious Spoon so I could have a pancake. No. I'll have my pancakes up north, thank you. No matter how much I appreciate Furious Spoon. It's like David Bowie's Serious Moonlight. Serious Moonlight. So we're traveling. We're traveling fast. We're getting out. Logan, we're still in Logan Square. Still see evidence of people building trains to leave the area. Nah, never to be really accomplished. Try as you might, you really can't escape Milwaukee Avenue. If you were born anywhere near here, you're destined to die a horrible death near the very same place you were born. There's no chance of getting out. Here we are, Diversey, 2800 North. We missed, while I was talking, we missed Armitage and Fullerton. Sorry about that. But we're really getting out. We're getting out. We're getting out. You're gonna see in a few moments a memento, a mementi mori, a reminder of death, of the death of the Polish neighborhood. In a minute. That was interesting. We'll see something that only the chosen, and I don't mean Jews, I mean specific chosen, like Schur's teachers who came on their breaks when life was good at Schur's, before these asshole principals and what's his name, Rahm Emanuel, before that rat bastard Rahm Emanuel, who I know is Jewish. Believe me, I know it. I'm well aware. I'm so ashamed of that fact. I can barely wake up in the morning. Rahm Emanuel destroyed what was left of any happiness of any Chicago public school teacher. He took a wonderful job, which started at 8 a.m. and ended at 2:15 p.m., 6.25 hours. And he made it into an 8-hour factory-style torture chamber, where at once we could hop in our cars. We just passed a place called Star Polska. Here we have European draperies. We're getting near Schur's High School. We see the remnants of some Polish businesses, remnants of a Polish neighborhood. This is certainly not a Polish neighborhood today. If this is anything, this is a Mexican neighborhood. Seems to me that we are not going to make the whole trip because I'm feeling sick. We're going to have to go up past Schur's, then go straight north on Cicero. Cicero, the great Latin orator. Go up. Actually, we're not even going to do that. We're not going to make it. We're going to go back on Pulaski, same way we started. Because I am feeling a little sick. On installment 2 of this wonderful trip into the history of Chicago, we will talk about Milwaukee Avenue as it starts from Milwaukee and Pulaski and heads north toward really the promised land. I mean, Skokie was only we would say the land of Abraham and Isaac. But the land of Moses and his descendants are really in places like Vernon Hills and Buffalo Grove and places way out on Milwaukee Avenue, 20, 30 miles way out. So if there was such a thing as white flight, started with the flight to Skokie and then continued with the flight from Skokie to Vernon Hills, where my sister lives now. I never had the fortune to flee Skokie, or never did I want to, but there are those who forsook Skokie for a different and brighter dream, if such a thing is imaginable. And they left the land of their fathers and they traveled to far away from the land of their fathers, to the land of possibly their mothers. Now I'm just rambling. I'm making crazy shit up. Had nothing to do with their mothers. What if we can do this? Because they closed off Pulaski there. We're gonna have to like hoof it on the side streets here. Then you get a real taste of what life is like in Chicago at all times. You see all the cars. At one time people drove cars. Now they're hulking, rusting, scrap metal. Once these vehicles actually were internal combustion vehicles, now left to rot as the zombies take over all of Western civilization. And when I say zombies, of course, I mean Muslims. Don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. Now my daughter accused me the other day, or other week, and said, oh shit, almost hit that turnabout thing. Oh, now this fell. Now we're on a horrible street, pockmarked. Now these things go haywire, the white windshield wipers. I think the guy changed my windshield wiper. That's pretty good. We got to go slow, otherwise we'll shake this car to pieces. This is the nature of the roads where you can't see them in Chicago, where the aldermen hide their faces because they don't want to be responsible for fixing up any roads. Now, continue on Pulaski. That wasn't hard to get around that detour. We can continue north if we want to, and that is the Chicago spirit. Chicago spirit, the motto of Chicago is, I will. I will. Will you suffer and die in the most horrifying city in the world? I will. Will you be a slave all your life and suffer and try to kill yourself and wish you were dead if you live in Chicago? I will. Are you a city, another slogan, are you a city that works constantly from the moment I'm born to the minute I'm dead? I'm working, and I'm working. What are you working on? I don't know. I'm just working. Are you doing anything good? No. I'm working, I tell you. Okay then. Be that as it may. Continue. Work your ass off. What do I care? You know, I don't live in Chicago, and I never will live in Chicago. And I never would live in Chicago, although I have lived in Chicago. Can't blame me. I was young, naive, incredibly stupid. But that doesn't, well, anyway, I lived on Lawrence Avenue here. We're on Lawrence now. I lived on Ainsley and Avers, which is essentially right here, Lawrence and Pulaski. A couple blocks from here. I went to a school called Alessandro Volta, who was some kind of nut who did something with electricity. But the good part is we were heading so far north that we're almost out of the city. This was called Albany Park, the neighborhood. Now I think it's called Yuppies on Toast. I can't keep up with the names of these neighborhoods anymore. There's Streeterville. We didn't have any Streeterville when I was living in Chicago. We just had Shit Show and Fuckville and Poop Ass, and those were the names of the neighborhoods when I was living here. But now we have Bronzeville and Streeterville and Kitchen Tableville and Furious Spoon area and Yuppies on Toast and all sorts of different neighborhoods. Now you could go into a neighborhood like that looked so horrifyingly grotesque that you would say, how can a human being even consider living here? And the condominiums there would be $2 million. And you would scratch your head and say, what the fuck? I wouldn't let my dog live here, much less pay $2 million for this, living in this hellhole. And yet, this is de rigueur, as the French say. This is par for the course, as other Americans say. Real estate is it's topsy-turvy around here. Here we are, very close to Northeastern Illinois University, where I got my master's degree in linguistics, which is why I'm able to talk to you now. Before I got my master's degree in linguistics, my vocabulary was that of a chimpanzee. I could only go, ooh, 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 ah, 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 ooh, 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 ah, 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 ah. And that was it. But once I got that master's degree, I was like, oh man, I can make a sentence now. Wow, this is cool. I was speaking the language of all Americans. Swahili. And Spanish, of course. And what's that funny language? Jamaican. And Pidgin. All different languages. Yiddish. Here we have cemetery, lots of cemeteries. On the right we have the Bohemian National Cemetery. On the left we have what's called Montrose Cemetery. I love the name the Bohemian National Cemetery because there is no Bohemia anymore, but there used to be Bohemia, and someone would call somebody Bohemian, and then there would be trouble because you don't call anybody Bohemian anymore. It's like a beatnik. Here's where my father, brother, and mother are buried. To the left, right here, at this little cemetery, you can make it out. Where is it? Is it here? Well, we passed it, but it was there. We just passed it. And coming up to a very interesting place. On the right is a sanctuary for trees, nature sanctuary they call it. And we're going to pass on the right again. There's a huge nunnery. They don't call them a nunnery anymore, but a monastery kind of thing. Huge, nice area now. We're getting into we're getting out of the Chicago feel, getting into a feel of like, wow, it might be worth living if you were living around here. Life might be just not that bad. And then we see here, that's an Assyrian church. Assyrians are Christians. It's a big church. There's a lot of Assyrians, which I love the Assyrian people because they are Christians. This is no, up ahead is a museum for Assyrians. I love Christians. I am a newfound Christian. I've brought Christ into my life. I love certain Jews too, don't get me wrong. I love the people as a whole, Jewish people. There are some Jews I don't like, that's for sure. But as a group of people, I think that they're wonderful people, and very, very, very brave and courageous. I love Israel. Look at Lincolnwood. This is Lincolnwood now. I love the idea of Israel, as what's his name, Charles Kirk said. Israel is a placeholder for ideas. The idea is that you don't have to be a Muslim. That's a great idea. I love that idea. You don't have to be a Muslim. That's one of the greatest ideas of civilization. You should never lose sight of that freedom. The freedom that we have not to be a Muslim. The freedom that Linda Sarsour and Bernie Sanders and Ilhan Omar and Keith Ellison and all the fucking CAIR people, the freedom to not be a Muslim is the freedom that I want to be able to die for. Here's Pratt Avenue, 6800 North. We're well into Lincolnwood now. And that was the library there. And in about 4 blocks, well, yeah, about 5-6 blocks, we'll be in Skokie. All right, thanks for listening and watching. Goodbye.